Welcome to YMT218 Object-Oriented Programming. This is the second session of our tutorial of Chapter 12. We are still speaking about GUI applications. I just briefly explained about how to create a main window or a window over root for placing widgets on and how to customize it. I explained about the way we can customize a main window over root in terms of size, in terms of title, and so on. Okay, now this is the second session. We will just place a few components and customize these components. So I explained two ways for using GUI applications, and the structured way or the object-oriented way. It's up to you to use whichever method suits you, unless you are instructed to use the object-oriented over the structured. One more thing I have to remind you that actually this course is object-oriented, and it teaches you actually how to create objects other than just relying on structured or modular programming. So the idea is if you create a class, you can reuse it, you can instantiate it when you need, and that's much more convenient than just creating a structured program. However, the point now is not just creating a class. When we master GUI applications, then we can move to classes and create them within classes. Let's just try to understand a few things first before we move to real object-oriented in GUI. Let me explain to you how we customize. Now, I explained to you how we can customize the main window, the root. Let me explain to you how we can customize the components themselves or the widgets. So I will do this from tk-enter. We agreed that this is somehow more convenient. So I'm importing all tk-enter components. Now, what I will do, I will create a main or a window. And this window, I'll give it a title of GUI2 because this is the second session. I will customize its size. We know these things. Now I create a label, just a label, and display this label. Place it on the window. So window, we know how to create it, equals tk, capital T, and that will create a window for us, customize it. So the customization can be in terms of title in this case, dot title. And what are we going to give it as a title? GUI2. GUI. Oh, come on. Okay. And then the geometry. So the size, I'll go for what? 250, 250. This is a string, so 250, 250. Okay. X 250 times 250. All right. So now, I would like to add a label. Label is just a widget that allows us to display a text, usually one line in this case. So I'll create this label. Let me call it LB label. So this is not 1, this is L, lowercase l, okay, equals. Now label, we can access directly to label as a method from tk-enter, and this method accepts actually a number of arguments. The first one, we need to know where we are placing it on the window. So I created a window. I'll place this label on this window, okay? And what do you want to display with this label? You have to provide text as an argument and say what you want to display. Let's say Python. Let's just display Python, okay? And now I'll just display this, and then we need to learn a few things about customizing the outcome here. In order for us to display this label, we need to place it on the main. Now I said it's on the main, but how do you want to place it? There are three main ways. The first one is packing it. So we have a pack method which accepts left, right, top, bottom. Okay, so the location where you place it, or the position where you place the label, will be determined based on up, down, top, bottom, or left and right. So that is one of the ways. We can use grid. Grid is exactly cells. It is like an array. of rows and columns, so you can determine the row and the column where you are placing your component or widget. And we can use place. Place allows you to select the exact pixel location, X and Y. That means where do you want to place it. Assume that this window has a coordinate. The top most left corner is 0, 0. Then you can move downward to the left and right, and then you can determine the coordinates. And that's by place. So let's start by pack. I will place pack as a default. I will not give anything to customize it, so I will say my label.pack. So pack it by default, the way it is. Don't place it left or right or top or bottom, and we will see what it means by default. Window. Now we have to enter the main loop so that our program displays it continuously without termination until we terminate by ourselves or on our own. So the only thing is not familiar to us is just packing this, creating a label or packing it. So these things were already discussed earlier. So we created a label, we gave it a text, and we said it's placed on the window that I created, and then we packed it on the window. So packing here function or method will place it, but how? Let's see. Now look, this is my label. By default, it's centralized, and it is packed here in this case, like to the center. Not left, not right, not top, not bottom. It's just center, the way it is. Now, as you see, this one is really small, and the view of the font is not very nice. Can I change the font? Can I change the color of the label? Can I change the color of this font or its size? I can do that, and let me show you how. So this is the second type of customization we will learn. I'll extend here. I concatenate it so that I don't extend the length of the label. So in this case, first thing I will do, I'll change the font in terms of its size and in terms of its type. So I'll use font functions very similar to text. Font equals. Now what we need to do, we need to receive more than one argument here. The first one is I'll place the type of the font or the font itself. I will use Arial, okay? And I'll say its size is, let's think about the size, how about 30? Okay, and then I'll customize a bit more. Go to a new line. Now, I changed the type of the font. I said it's Arial now, and its size 30. I'll say it change the color of the text to something. So I use foreground, okay, FG foreground color. To what? I change it to what? To blue. Maybe I can use blue. You can type it lowercase in this case with no problem. I'll terminate. Right, let's just try this first and see how things go. So I changed default font that appeared on my window. So change it to Arial, the size 30, and the foreground, that means the font color itself is blue. Let's try. Seems I forgot something. Yeah, we have mismatch, of course. Yeah, this one is terminated here for sure. Yes. Now look. So the foreground color is blue, and the font size changed, the font type changed. Now you may say, how do I know that the font type size is clear? Well, it's bigger. Color is clear, but how about the font type? Well, maybe it's not easy for you to determine whether it is Arial or not. Well, let's change to like this font. This font is Courier New, or maybe we can use Times New Roman. It's extremely popular. Times New Roman. Let's run. Yes, now it's changed, isn't it? For sure. It wasn't like this before. Now, one thing I have to tell you. Times New Roman, and I will say it's bold. Okay, the thick style. And look. Yes, that's much thicker than before. Bold is exactly like the one we use in text editing, like Word documents. Okay. Right, one more thing I will have to customize. Now this is foreground. How about background? Background. I'll change its color. Now blue, what would match with blue as a background? So foreground is blue. Background, what could be a good match for blue? Let's think about blue. How about orange? Not sure. I'm not very good at matching colors. Let's try. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I didn't expect this much. Okay, so this is the background. The background will determine the border of the label that we have, and the foreground will determine the font if we are speaking about the font. Okay, so now you see the customization. Well, we can repeat this process and display whatever we want based on the label. That means just one line. Okay, that's it actually for this part. Customization of a label, and you see how it's not usually easy. A lot of details just for one widget. So we have one widget. This widget has a lot of details, and the same goes to other widgets. We can customize, you know, as much as we like, or as much as our program dictates or needs. I'll create another session. Until then, have a good time. Goodbye.